knew I would figure it out. I know if you leave me alone long enough, I'll figure out almost anything. The key of what's keeping most of us broke is income. Now, this is going to be a crazy philosophy because I know you've been told your whole life to get a nice job that pays a good income. That's the exact thing that's keeping you broke. Income. Income is taxable. But, yes, sorry about that. I had to drop off some letters. It is the income that is keeping you broke. Receiving an income. Income is actually a liability. Most corporations use tax credits as money. And it's time that most citizens start running themselves as a business or a corporation and start using tax credits as money. Now, fortunately, I do know how to do this, but I think people should learn how to do this for themselves. I'm out. Freezing rain, Wisconsin. I need to move up out this place. I wanted to talk about something. The difference between a state citizen and a federal citizen. Everyone that's born in the so-called United States of America or the United States has dual citizenship. One is federal and one is state, the natural state that you're born in. The federal citizenship falls under the 14th Amendment. And if you've ever read the 14th Amendment fully, which most people have not, because I keep getting in arguments about the 14th Amendment, if you read the 14th Amendment, you understand the 14th Amendment, it converted rights into privileges. Now, the difference between a right and a privilege is a right is something that can't be taken away. A privilege is something that can. So people were unknowingly entered into dual citizenship, and you can end that. The difference between a federal citizen and the 14th Amendment says you cannot dispute debt. A state citizen can. I wanted to take a moment and talk about one of the biggest scams ever in life. Basically, registering your car with the state, meaning getting a certificate of title. Now, what happens is when you get a certificate of title, you create a trust relationship between you and the state where you get the short end of the stick and you give them equity into your car that they didn't have before. So what you do is you pay for a certificate of title, which is just a piece of ownership of your car, where you become the trustee and the state becomes the beneficiary. That's why you have to pay for your registration. That's why you have to pay for license plates and upkeep. You have to pay for all the upkeep, but they get the benefit by charging you a tax, which is a registration fee. It is one of the biggest scams. I'm thinking about deregistering my car, but they try to make us fear them. Good morning, everybody. It's me headed to the airport for Philadelphia. I wanted to talk about something. Can you pay your bills with your bills? And the answer is yes. It is the craziest thing. Most people don't understand when they are receiving a bill in the mail, whether it's an electric bill, car bill or car payment or house payment, it is actually a check. So yes, you can pay your bills with bills. Now, do you know how to, you have to know how to do it? Yes. But it's something that people should look into because debt causes a lot of stress in people's lives. So if you can learn this, it's going to help you immensely. The book that helps with this is called Mitchie on Banking. It's $1,000, but there's other books also. On my way from Naples to Miami, and I wanted to say something real quick. The United States is a paper empire, or America is a paper empire. You could be anything you want in this country. It's the land of make-believe. I agree with KRS-One when KRS said that the United States is the land of make-believe. It's the truth. The state of Florida exists in a filing cabinet. The state of Wisconsin exists in a filing cabinet. Have you ever asked yourself, if America gained its independence from the British, why does the flag look so much like the Union Jack? It's because America has never gained its independence from the British Empire. America is still a British colony. Everything we believe and we know is fake. This is the land of make-believe. So if you're not successful in America, you only got one person to look at. It's that person in the mirror. All of our debts are prepaid and people still ain't succeeding in this country, man. We need to start educating ourselves. What's going on, everybody? I wanted to talk about something real quick. I wanted to give you a little hint on how to basically securitize your money and change your relationship between you and your bank. When you deposit money in a bank, it goes into a general fund. And if you put money in a bank and it goes in a general fund, that means that a bank could use this as a bail-in. And I know people might say, well, the FDIC or, insures your bank deposits. Okay, whatever. But really, when you deal with a bank, it's really, you are investing in the bank. Your money, you're seen as an investor in the bank. So you may not get all your money back if a bank goes belly up. So you want to change the relationship from your with your bank and turn them into the bailee. That means if I put something in the bank is now a trustee and they are holding the money on behalf of me, opposed to me putting money in the bank and being an investor in the bank. If I put in dinar, I get dinar. If I put in gold, I get gold. Change the relationship between your bank and you.
Back to the gift and estate tax. When you actually pay the IRS, when you put your income in the wrong section, what you're ended up doing is giving them the money as a gift. That's why I said most people who file the taxes don't know that, or most people who prepare taxes may not know that. But yeah, it's very important to know tax law, trust law, and basically contract law. If you know that, you can conquer the world. Everything else becomes so much easier. But yeah, most people are giving gifts and not receiving any compensation for giving the gift. And that's why it's very important that you know how to file taxes, or learn how to file taxes properly, or inform your tax preparer of some, certain things like this. All right, I'm out.
I really wanted to talk about something because I get tired of seeing these videos where people feel hopeless, where they're dealing with like public officials, meaning police officers, judges, corrupt mayors, corrupt governors, whatever. The solution for all corruption is you. Okay, all of these people, these judges, these police officers, these sheriffs, they are bonded officials, meaning that they have a bond and they have insurance. So if you have a corrupt sheriff, you have a corrupt police officer, I'm talking about corrupt. I'm not talking about somebody you don't like or gave you a ticket that you didn't like. I mean somebody who is railroading your rights granted or protected by the Constitution, because they're not granted by the Constitution, protected by the Constitution. Go after their insurance and their bonds. That's the answer. These bonds should be held in either the county clerk or the registry of deeds. Also, veterans can actually arrest judges.
Man, I should have stayed in Miami, man. Now I'm back in the frozen tundra. But what I wanted to talk about is the government and what the government means. Now, I'm not anti-government or anything like that, but I just want you to know what government means. So let's break it down to a two-part word: govern and mental, or government, meaning control the mind. So what government operates as is a fear-based, usually out of fear, to control people. Government has nothing to do with what you think it is. There is no such thing as government. It's just a bunch of corporations portraying that they are government. Now, I'm not anti-government, but I like people to have the truth so you can make well-informed decisions. Your government has an EIN number, or your municipality has an EIN number and a DUNS number. That means that they are not a government. They are not a sovereign entity. They are a corporation doing business as a municipality. This is the truth, people. I can't lie about this.
I've been doing a lot of research, and I wanted to talk about something today. I'm going to talk about using your insurance plan as leverage or equity in a real estate transaction or deal. A lot of people don't understand that they can use their insurance plan as equity. And am I going to go into all of that? No, because I only got a minute. And that's the hard thing, because I'm explaining stuff that takes at least 30, 40, 50, maybe an hour to explain. But you can use your real estate transaction to get pre-approved for mortgages, business loans, and all kinds of things. It's a lot of stuff that we don't know, and how to use leverage and equity to our benefit is one of those big things. I'm just saying.
What's going on, everybody? I wanted to talk about something. My last video, I removed it because I made a few mistakes, but I want to really talk about there is no such thing as student loans. And I get tired of explaining this to people, but I keep explaining it over and over. And there's no such thing as student loans. One thing a loan has to have that this lacks is consideration. One thing a contract lacks that this has to have is consideration. One person cannot be drafted on performance without another person being drafted on performance for it to be a legal contract. Student loans are nothing more than securities. You are an unknown beneficiary into a security that you never knew that you executed. Student loans don't exist. I don't know how many times I gotta say this to people. They don't exist. I'm out.
Man, I should have went to the Bucks game tonight. But I want to talk about one thing that a lot of people need to understand is contract law. Everything is contract. Everything is a contract or contract. So one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is the unconscionable contract. What is an unconscionable contract? It is a contract where one side is drafted off of performance and the other side has no draft of performance, meaning it is a contract which one person has all the duties of fulfillment and the other has nothing. That is unconscionable and voidable in law. So you can take this information and do whatever the hell you want with it. Tell me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know shit about law. But yeah, this should help you. I'm out. Go Bucks. Oh, yeah, this post is specifically just for men or maybe even women if you've been ordered to pay child support. Now, luckily, I've never had to pay child support, but I'm going to give you a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. One, child support is a contract in and of itself. Is an unconscionable contract, meaning it is voidable. It is void. So if you were paying child support for years, you were paying child support on an actual void contract. Two, a judicial order or a judge's order can be used as a negotiable instrument because it is an order of pay or a demand of pay or a demand to pay, which means if it is a negotiable instrument, you can make the court pay the taxes on your instrument. Meaning if a judge signed an order, it is an order to pay. So they owe the taxes on it. This means that all of the money that you paid into child support, you can actually get back. Because you paid onto a void contract.
Good morning. I actually wanted to talk about something real quick. Talk about credit. So I've been talking about credit a little bit off and on, but I'll give you a little story so you'll understand credit a little better because I was ignorant to credit myself. In the United States, we're taught that you want to stay out of debt. You want to keep your debt low, but debt is actually an asset when used correctly. A lot of people don't get extended a lot of credit because they don't borrow enough. And that's why a lot of banks won't lend to you because you haven't borrowed enough. You don't have enough assets. So you're supposed to use debt as a positive and not a negative. But once you know how to discharge debt, it's a lot easier for you. But if you haven't borrowed anything, people aren't going to want to lend you anything. They're actually only lending you your credit. It's your credit. So you need to go out and use your credit. After the Industrial Revolution, America doesn't produce anything. So we're actually the creditors and investors in America.